All right, good morning, guys. Happy Thursday. We do have a quiz on SchoolNet today, and there are 3 things you really need to know. You need to know how to, you need to know how to identify the center and the radius. You need to know how to write equations given the center and the radius, and you need to know how to find the radius and write the equation. So let's look at 1 and 2. And as always, if you want to pause after this first problem over here and try number 2, you're always welcome to do that. So when you're looking for the center, ordered pair, and you're looking at these 2 numbers, but you're going to change the sign. So if you see a positive 19, the center is at negative 19, negative 4, center's at positive 4. So look at the numbers here with x and y, just change the sign. And as for the radius, you're going to take the square root of that last number because it's x minus h, y minus k, and this is r squared. So r would be the square root of 10,000, which is 100. And why don't you guys try number 2 here. So the center opposite of 5 is negative 5. There's nothing here, so we represent nothing with the number 0. And this is r squared, so r is 2. Okay, and then we're going to write the equations. Do this in green. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So again, we're looking at the center here. We're going to change the signs. So the center's at negative 1, 74. So negative 1 becomes plus 1. 74 is minus 74. And for r squared, we're going to take 22 squared, which is 484. So 484. And let's do the same thing here. So this is x, y. The center's at positive 2, 0. Positive 2 becomes negative 2. 0 is minus 0. And 1 squared is 1. Now, of course, if you wanted to write this as... x minus 2, 0... Sorry, x minus 2 squared, plus y squared equals 1. If you want to leave it like that, that's fine. But here's the really tricky part. This is what we're going to be worrying about today before your quiz, because this is going to probably be the most difficult part. There are 2 questions like this on your quiz at the very end. So we're still going to be using our x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. And just like we saw yesterday, we're going to do the same thing as what we've been doing when we write our equations. We'll plug in x minus 3, and negative 1 becomes plus 1. So that's not going to change. The only new thing, so take the same first step as always. The only new thing here is our point is going to go in for x and y. So this is going to become 3 because it's x, and y becomes 6. So always take the same first step, fill in the center coordinates where they usually would go, and then substitute in your x and y from the point. So 3 minus 3 squared is 0 squared, and one of these is always going to reduce to 0. So 3 minus 3 squared is 0 squared, plus 6 plus 1 is 7 squared, equals r squared. And 0 squared is just 0, so we don't need to worry about that. So 7 squared equals r squared, or r equals 7. So that's how we would find the radius. And then when we're done with that, once we found the radius, we need to write the equation of the circle. So we're still going to focus on our center and the radius, just like we did up here. We wrote the equation given the center and radius. So this would be x minus 3 squared plus y plus 1 squared equals 49, or 7 squared, r squared. So r is 7, so r squared is 49. And same thing here, let's solve for let's solve for our radius here. Y minus k squared equals r squared. So we're going to solve for our radius, and how we're going to do that here is we're going to substitute in our center points, our center coordinates, like we always do, x minus 7, y minus 2. But the new step that we have to take to find r is we need to substitute in x and y for x and y. So those numbers from our given point on the circle go in there, and we'll say that's 7 and -1. Okay, so now we've got 7 minus 7 is 0 squared, plus -1 minus 2 is -3 squared equals r squared. So if we simplify this, I get 9 equals r squared, or r equals 3. And our final equation that we have to write out, just like we did up here, not going to worry about our point anymore. We're going to take the center and change those signs. So center, 7, 2. And we're going to change those signs. Positive 2 becomes -2. And r is 3, so r squared is 9. As always, let me know what questions you have. This quiz is only 8 questions.